Good morning. And happy Mother's Day to all of you wonderful moms out there. I see a lot of you. Will you please stand up and let us honor you with our loving thoughts and applause this morning? All your moms, stand up. Wow, thank you very much. Many of you have raised your own children, and some of you have mothered other children that you kindly took on as your own. Some of you have shepherded children as a mother figure, and some of you have cared for other of God's creatures in the form of pets. To all of you, for your unselfish service, devotion, love, and energy, we wish you a wonderful, wonderful Mother's Day today. And we hope that you will join us after church at the Mother's Day tea for something to eat and some tea out in the family room. There is really no better way for us to know unconditional love than to watch a mother in action. Think of the things that mothers have done for their children or for their pets or for their loved ones. Think of what they have forgiven. Oh my gosh, when I think of what my own mother must have forgiven, what mothers put up with, what mothers have sacrificed. And sometimes their only recompense is that their children declared they would not be invited to their birthday party. You discipline them and that's what you get. Of course, the mothers had planned the party all week, but we children didn't think of that. Often, mothers are told that they just don't understand when Johnny Jr. is grounded for not doing his homework for a week or for talking back. Think of the times Mom got the silent treatment or was treated like she didn't have a brain bigger than a green bean. But as challenging as it can be for caring for children and for pets, thousands of diapers, long nights, nursing illnesses, myriad meals to make, and homework to help with, you mothers kept on keeping on. You loved your little charges no matter what. That is true agape, unconditional, Christ-like love. And that unconditional love of mothers can help us all understand the unconditional love that God has for all of us. Maybe you've been through a stage in your life where you doubted God's wisdom, as we often doubt our parents' wisdom. But like the unconditional love of a mother, God totally understood and accepted you anyway, no matter what. That's the way mothers are. Maybe you just didn't live by the eternal laws of God's universe in a certain situation, like children don't always obey their parents, but like mothers, God never abandoned you. He never gave up on you. Children sometimes roll their eyes at their parents. I'm sure that's a foreign concept to you all, as some might discount God when they don't get what they want or what they've prayed for. But the unconditional love of a mother understands that ultimately this is just kids being kids. It seems like mothers never give up. In fact, a mother's unconditional love is one of the greatest mysteries of this life, and it should help us understand the mystery of God's love for all of us. Have you ever tried pretending that you are the mother of someone whom you find unlikable? I have found this very helpful. Sometimes I try to imagine them as they were at 1 year old. And I know some of you all have done this too. I've talked with some of you. It's interesting, we kind of came up with this idea. But look at someone like they're a little baby. They're looking up at you with great expectancy and trust that you will protect and love them. This person who has done this thing to you that you're just not sure you can forgive. The interesting thing is that on some level, this is exactly the case. People often are looking to us, hoping that we will be kind and understanding no matter what. Try to imagine yourself, even for an hour, better than that for a day, as the mother of everyone you meet. This is your child. They're just acting up. Try considering them with the unconditional love of a mother for her child and just test out the results. This is a center of practical spirituality, and I think you might be very surprised at the results of this experiment. You might want to start with easy subjects like people right here in your Unity spiritual family. We all need love and acceptance. So what might this love actually look like? We talk about love all the time, but what does that mean? Well, there's no better picture than the familiar one that you find in 1 Corinthians, of course. It says, love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy, it does not boast, is not proud, it does not dishonor others, it is not self-seeking, is not easily angered, it keeps no record of wrongs. Again, we can look at mothers as our role models to see how often this is actually manifested. For example, the part that says, love is patient. Raising children takes a lot of patience, and so does putting up with people who are programmed to act a way that we don't want them to act. But maybe we can look at the challenge as a way that we can develop patience. Children usually come around sooner or later, and actually most people do too. Most people. A valuable tool is to always look at other people as if you were their mother, looking at their children, seeing them as perfect, as whole, as divine, even when they aren't manifesting who they really are at that moment. Who they really are, of course, is a child of God. They're divine, as we are. And then expect that they will act like who they really are, divine. If you hold the light in that way, they often do. Love is kind. Certainly mothers portray that. They attend endless grade school plays, sports games, and they act like it's Broadway and the major leagues. They nurse a scratch like it's stage 4 cancer, and they answer incessant 3-year-old questions. Why, mommy, why? Often as if they were the thought-provoking inquiries of Plato and Socrates themselves. We would all do well to follow mother's example of kindness, whether it's letting someone maybe into traffic that day or listening to a friend's problems when we've really got our own, or understanding when someone has made a mistake, truly understanding. We would do well to emulate a mother's kindness toward their children in those situations. These random acts of kindness can be like heavy octane, high octane gas, propelling people on sometimes for years and leaving indelible memories, which often result in acts of kindness on our part that we pass on to others. When we receive these, we somehow tend to do them sooner or later. My second real memory is of my dear Aunt Sis. When I was around 4, we were in my backyard, and she peeled a banana for me, and she carefully removed all kinds of, those little strings that get in your way. And she completely removed them for me before she gave that banana back, just for me. Nobody was looking. No one would ever know that she took time out of her busy schedule to help her little 4-year-old niece. She did it just for me, to make my life happier. I knew even at the time that this was true kindness and that she thought I was worth the trouble. I've tried to return this random act of kindness to the world from time to time to repay that karmic debt. And I remember that. What you can do for others in just a small way like that may help them for the rest of their lives. I knew I was loved when she did that. You never know when an unselfish gesture like that will change someone. I have no doubt that on some level, Aunt Sis's kind act to me gave me some self-confidence. She must have thought I was important enough to want to remove all those strings from my banana, just so little old me would enjoy it more. I felt loved and special, and we can have that effect on others in many, many motherly ways all the time. Love does not envy. Few mothers envy their children. Moms are happy when their children accomplish, sometimes more than they did. They want their children to be successful in life. Think how much it means to others when you rejoice in their success. Ultimately, on the absolute plane, of course, they are you. So, rejoice in your success through them. They are God's children, ergo, your spiritual sisters and brothers, a part of you. Love does not boast, is not proud. Have you ever heard a mother tell a small child who is just learning to walk, well, I can do that a whole lot better than you? No, she patiently teaches and cheers on with praise her children until they get it right. We could all take a lesson in that kind of support when others succeed. Whatever you do to the least of mine, you do to me. The reality is that we have countless opportunities a day to praise others and to rejoice in their success. Again, if you need a role model, just observe almost any loving mother with her child, encouraging, motivating, helping, giving, and guiding with no thought of being superior in any way. The only time mothers might fail a little bit in this area is when they're proud of their little ones. Sometimes moms tend to boast just a little bit, but that's okay, that kind of boasting. Love does not dishonor others. Again, mothers are probably the best role models for this. They honor their children by giving up their time, their resources, and their energy for them. I ran into the mother of one of my students recently who said she did not leave her baby daughter for the first 5 years of her life, even to go out to dinner, because she felt that her daughter needed her. I have no idea if this was psychologically helpful to the child or not, and I'm not trying to make anybody in here feel guilty who didn't do this. It's rather extreme, but I use it as an example of how mothers have a tendency to honor every perceived need of their children. Think what the world would be if we honored just some of the needs of those more helpless than we are. Love is not self-seeking. Again, is it not mothers who give and give and give, often without ever getting? I'll bet some of you mothers in here can't even remember all the times that you have given up things, time, resources, energy, so that one of your children might benefit in some way. Why can't you remember all those times? Because you all thought it was normal. You loved your children. You have no idea how much that means to them, though. When I told my aunt, for example, years later, how much it had meant to me when she removed those banana strings, she had no idea what I was talking about. It was just who she was. And in the same way, we can all help others to just in little tiny ways that can make them feel special, like she did. She was just giving of herself. I wonder if a way to practice not being self-seeking is a way to be more at one with our own divinity might be to allow someone in line at the grocery store when they look particularly in need. Maybe giving 25% tip sometime in a restaurant to someone who looks like maybe they've got children at home that need to eat. Maybe just picking up a piece of paper outside off the ground so that the environment would be that much more beautiful for other people. Using mothers as a role model in this way can help us learn to be more God-centered and giving instead of self-seeking. Love is not easily angered and keeps no record of wrongs. If mothers kept a record of every time their children disobeyed, told fibs, or downright lied, rolled their eyes, didn't keep their room clean, broke something, or insulted them, they would have to hire a CPA to keep track of the numbers. If mothers got angry and called the police every time their kids stole a cookie or a dollar, or every time the baby physically abused them by throwing a toy at them, many kids would spend their childhood in reform schools. But mothers, as hurt as they may be sometimes, usually are slow to anger when their 2-year-old spits the food they just prepared all over the floor, or worse, at her, dirtying her clean, newly ironed outfit. How helpful it would be to understand that all people who do things that we've been programmed to not like are basically like children who are learning the ways of the world, or who, like babies, never outgrew their narcissistic, terrible twos. We can often be of service to God's children by showing them that there are reasonable, forgiving, even loving people on planet Earth. Remember in Victor Hugo's Les Miserables, we've talked about this before, when the priest took in the criminal Jean Valjean, when no hotel would admit him, Jean Valjean stole the priest's silver that night and ran away. When the police saw Jean Valjean with all of that silver and discovered that he was a criminal, they brought him back to the priest to return the silver and then go to jail. The priest, remember, told the authorities that he had given the silver to Jean Valjean, so they had to let him go. The priest then whispered to Jean that he wasn't keeping accounts because he was buying his soul and to go forth and do good. Throughout most of the rest of Jean's life in the play, Jean Valjean did become a mighty force for good. It's such a poignant example of how much influence we can have on others when we are not easily angered and when we don't keep accounts, like mothers. What you mothers have for your children, of course, is unconditional love. It teaches them what God does. Every Bible dictionary will tell you God is love, and your loving is what makes you divine. We can all certainly learn from that. So to you mothers and mother figures, we honor you for your years and years of sacrifice and unconditional love. We pray that you will not be sad due to anything that was left undone or done in a moment of being human. We honor you for setting the example for us, for being the symbol of Christ-like, unconditional love. And we support you in your often ongoing struggle to guide and help your children. I know for a fact that some of you are dealing with sadness in this area. You feel that you've lost your children to substance abuse or other worldly problems. Please know that your prayers for these temporarily lost sheep are not for naught. They know on some level that you care for them. Even the most hardened criminals often cry for their mothers whom they have not seen in years. There is no substitute for a mother or a mother figure. They are on their journey. They're learning their lessons that we may never understand, that you as mothers might not understand. Perhaps lessons that they incarnated in this life to learn, as difficult as it may seem to you. And to those of you who have lost a child from this relative plane, remember that they are always going to be with you in ways that our human programming cannot imagine. When a bird sings outside of your window, when an adorable puppy runs toward you for no apparent reason, when the wind sings you a song, don't doubt that they are reassuring you that they are with you and they are doing well. I could go on forever about that, but suffice it to say that energy is neither created nor destroyed. Keep an open mind and just know that they are with you, even if they might be somewhere else too. Our minds can't grasp those sorts of things. They are no longer limited by time and space. When Jesus resurrected from the dead, not everybody could see him, but his disciples could. He was in a different, more energy than solid form. In a way similar to that, I believe our loved ones are always with us. So today, we thank you, mothers, for showing us the way to love. You who have dedicated your lives to your children and other creatures of God. You have helped us see God's love in action. May you remember that the amount of love that you have given away has doubled in you. That is the way that giving love works. Let us all allow this Mother's Day to serve as a reminder that love is at the heart of all spiritual paths and all religions, and that if we can learn to be that love and to give it to all whom we come in contact with, not only will God's world be a better place, but our lives will work better in myriad mysterious ways. And since we officially became a family at Unity through Membership Sunday last week, it's a perfect day to start mothering each other at Unity in the highest meaning of the word. They say that 85% of American families are dysfunctional. Well, I suggest that the Unity family is among the 15% who are not dysfunctional. Let us work on becoming not just functional, but a haven for those who are here for spiritual growth and who want to be in a Sangha, the brotherhood of other people on their spiritual path. It's an easy way to practice being a force for good in the world. So happy Mother's Day to all of you who are kind enough to mother your own children and others in the world. May we all follow your example, and may you rest in the love of the divine. Amen.